Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday and happy start of round 2 of the 2023 NHL playoffs. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. And we are here with Craig and Petey calling in from the comfort of his home. Petey,
Yes.
How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. Ready for more hockey. I'm concerned because there's some very big teams that aren't playing apparently.
Yeah, let's just dive right in. I feel like
before we dive in, Petey, I'm just going to say that I feel pretty good. I'm sure you do as well. That we actually came out of the first round with a winning record in our predictions.
Let's wait for that. Okay, let's wait. But, Sean and I were predicting the losers. Come on, I like that tweet, Sean. Yeah, not great. Not a great showing for at least me and Sean in round 1.
Not really a great showing for anyone. Let's be honest.
It wasn't. I mean, it was a very fascinating first round. We talked a lot about it yesterday, but the game we had yet to see was the Devils and the Rangers game 7. It happened last night. The Devils are moving on to round 2, eliminating the New York Rangers, who made the Eastern Conference Final last year. Thoughts? Who wants to start? Petey, you were watching that game closely.
What I'm wondering here is when we came into this, we were saying what a powerhouse the Eastern Conference was. Everybody, the East. The champions coming out of the East. The East. Well, the Rangers and the Bruins are now out.
Yep.
I don't know if that's true anymore. I don't think that the East has a leg up on the West right now. I think there are 8 teams left that anybody can win the Cup right now. This New Jersey Devil team, they're faster than the Rangers. They smothered the Rangers. But guess who is the best team at the league at smothering an opponent? It's the Carolina Hurricanes. They're faster, they're quicker, they're above you in all 3 zones. They wear you down. It's ugly, boring, and it sucks, but it makes you frustrated. I think the Devils are going to have a hard time against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes, my issue, they have no offense. With Teuvo Teravainen's got a broken hand. You lose Svechnikov.
Jumping ahead here.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking Devils.
Well, we are. We're not previewing their upcoming series yet, but we're talking Devils Rangers.
They're really, really fast. Devils Rangers, they're really, really fast. Rangers sucked, and I'll tell you, Craig, what did I say? And I'll tell you when the collapse started. Patrick Kane.
You've been beating this drum.
I know he got 4 points in one game. He doesn't fit. They already have that player in Artemi Panarin. They had him. They have a puck-moving guy that stops at the blue line. Why add another guy? We talk about filling holes. They didn't fill a hole with Patrick Kane. Made that team worse. Made it worse in the locker room. And I think it's one of the reasons they lost.
I think there's a lot of people who want to bash Patrick Kane and make this about Patrick Kane, but there are 2 other guys, very prominent guys, that didn't produce for them at all. Where was Artemi Panarin in this series? Where was Artemi Panarin? He's supposed to be the younger, more dynamic player. Did you see anything from him?
You know when his play went down, Craig? Added Patrick Kane. There's 2 of them. He deferred everything to Patrick. It changed the way that kid played, and that's why I talk about locker room dynamics. Kane changed the whole dynamic of the locker room. They needed a third-line, hard-grinding winger to add at the deadline, not Patrick Kane.
Patrick Kane had as many points as Vladimir Tarasenko and Artemi Panarin combined in this series. So You can make some arguments that he wasn't a fit and maybe they needed to add some other things. But if I'm going to lay blame in this series, I ain't going to start with Patrick Kane. I'm going to start with those 2 guys and some other players in this series. But bottom line, kudos to the Devils. This is their first playoff series win since 2012. We all remember what happened that season. Akira Schmidt posted the 5th Game 7 shutout by a rookie goalie in playoffs history, and he joined Ilya Bryzgalov and Hal Winkler, Henry Winkler, Hal Winkler.
I don't know who that is.
As the 3rd rookie goalie with consecutive playoff home shutouts. So
didn't you have his poster on your wall when you were in high school, Craig?
Roaring Fork, Schmidt taking 22 picks after Prosvetov. That's fun.
Yeah.
Hey now.
So goaltending was a story in this too. Listen, I don't want to even suggest that Shesterkin was not good. He was brilliant in some instances, but New Jersey got, I think, probably better goaltending than anybody expected, and that was a factor in this series, along with the other things we just talked about.
He's the number 1 goalie. He's the number 1 goalie in the playoffs, goals against, save percentage, and shutouts. For goalies who played more than 1 game, he's first in everything. So yeah, he was the difference. And I tell you what I really liked about him is how calm this kid looks and how steady. And we talked about busy goaltending a lot with Karel Vejmelka. Schmid is just steady. It didn't look dramatic. It didn't look like he.
Oh.
We've had enough of Petey.
Yeah, we'll get back to
that.
Am I gone? Oh, he's back.
He's
Am
back.
I gone?
What happened?
So what do I do? How do I stop my phone from ringing? What do I do?
Turn it on Do Not Disturb.
How about just power it down, buddy?
He's on his phone.
You're on your phone?
I'm on my phone.
Well, that's
Turn it on Do Not Disturb.
I don't know how to do that. I think I do. But anyway, so
that's right. It'll add to the vibe of the show.
Petey, I'll send you a video to explain it, and you can do it.
But you can't watch the video
during the next ad read. During the MGM ad read, you can watch it.
So here's the deal: the concern for a guy like Schmid, you stood up to Game 7. You stood up to a New York Rangers crowd in Madison Square Garden. Every game in the playoffs, it gets tighter. It gets more competitive. It gets more frenetic. It gets more nervous. Can this kid continue to be the calm, cool, collected goalie? We'll see, because there are goalies here in this Final 8 that have been there before. He hasn't.
Yeah. And there's, we've seen instances of this in the past where a young goalie comes in and he's hot for a playoff round or two, but it never carries all the way through to the cup final. These guys don't win cups. It's like a Cinderella story. Eventually, the glass slipper, turns to what does Cinderella's glass slipper turn to? I can't even remember.
Nothing.
Her
the pumpkin turns into the carriage.
The carriage turns to a pumpkin. So I've blown the analogy. But anyway, I don't know that it's going to last, but we'll get to predictions in a minute. But I do think he can sustain it for a little longer. And I've liked so much of what I've seen from New Jersey.
He's a great
story.
After
those first 2 games. I mean, they dominated the Rangers in 4 of 5 games, and I did not expect that to happen. I actually thought that the Rangers might be a cup contender a little earlier in the season, but here they are after all the spending they did at the trade deadline. They're out in the first round.
Yeah, and I like this comment.
I think they were a lot of fun.
I like this comment from R. Nunez in the chat. Said, New Jersey showing what a young, speedy team can do. That may be Coyotes' future as the team moves into.
Oh, somebody wrote about that.
I do like the comparison with New Jersey and the Coyotes. You wanted to talk about the Jacob Trouba hit, Craig?
Yeah. We know the narratives on this. Jacob Trouba has a history here. I don't think it's just a coincidence. I think he plays on the edge. Sometimes I think he goes over the edge. It's been pointed out a lot on social media and elsewhere that by the rules, this was a clean hit. The question I think that needs to be asked is, should it be? And I'm going to go on off a little bit of a diatribe here.
Sure.
I'm a little tired of the blame the victim mentality that the NHL adopts. Oh, the onus is on the player to keep his head up. No, let's change the rule and put the onus on the guy delivering the hit to a head. I am tired of the hypocrisy in the NHL. We care about player safety. We care about head injuries. And then your actions show something different. Aside from fighting, where you allow a guy to punch another guy in the face, which is clearly going to cause head injuries, you allow stuff like this. I know hockey is a dangerous game. I'm not saying that you can take the violence and the injuries out of it entirely, but we can evolve. And evolve is an important word here, because I hear a lot of Neanderthal opinions that you can't take this out of the game. That's just wussifying the game. That's just stupid, all right? Let's let medical science dictate what's happening here. These are brain injuries. This has serious ramifications for players' futures. So if we can alter the rules a little bit, put the onus on the hitter, maybe we can protect players a little better. If we really care about player safety, which we should be trying to improve the rules to keep players safer.
All right, there you go. That's another Craig rant.
It was, and I side with a lot of things with Craig. I don't know. I don't want players to get hurt. I think the head needs to be protected. There is absolutely no doubt. But where does it end? It ends where you are in the Canadian Junior League, where there's no checking. Because I don't know how he's coming through the middle of the ice, and depending on, he's so much taller than Timo Meier. Timo Meier's center of gravity is lower on the ice. So now I don't know if I can put the onus all on Trouba to go, okay, well, oh shit, he bent his head down, look at the angle, and now I'm lower, now I can't hit him. His arms were in tight. He didn't get his elbows up. His arms and hands were down tight to his body. I don't like checks into the boards. I don't like guys hitting from the numbers. I don't like that hands up and sticks up in guys' faces. I don't like elbows in the face. I don't know what we do here. I don't know, short of making this a no-check league. I'm sorry, he hit the hell out of me. He hit him hard coming through the middle of the ice. And guess what? Be aware that Jacob Trouba's on the goddamn ice. You're aware when Reeves is on the ice. Be aware when Tom Wilson's on the ice. Be aware when Trouba's coming through the middle of the ice. Keep your head up. And I know I don't want to put the onus on the player, but Trouba's making a legal hit in that area. And if you want to make that hit illegal, Craig, then we need to take checking out of hockey, period. I don't know how you're going to signify, well, he hit him harder than this guy, well, that guy. The only way to do it is to take it completely out.
I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a big leap from you can't drill a guy when his head's down to we got to take checking out of the game.
Well, then if I'm going to get it checked in the corner, guess what? My head's going down. Oh, shit, he hit me and my head was down. No, not me. He's got to go in the penalty box. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Either take it out completely or you're going to have to put some of the onus on the guy getting hit.
All right. Well,
there we go. It's another show.
I don't have, I'm not going to chime in on this one. We'll just move on to put a bow on the first round. And Craig had this nugget that road teams went 31-19 in the first round to set an NHL record for most wins by the visitors in any round. The previous mark, it all comes back to 2012, it seems.
Seriously.
During the 2012 conference quarterfinals, 30-18, a postseason with a record 47 road wins overall. All 16 teams had at least one road victory, marking the second time in the NHL's expansion era that all teams had at least one.
And 2012, of course, was the other time. Crazy,
wild,
right?
Just a wild first round. So much was unpredictable, and I think now is the time we should pull up our embarrassing first round. Let's start with the West, so I can at least build myself up a little. So if you're watching on YouTube, we have our Western playoff predictions. We all picked Colorado, Dallas, Vegas, and Edmonton. That made it kind of easy. Obviously, all of us were wrong about Seattle.
If you look at that, though, like, who would have guessed that the one we'd get wrong?
No, like, I would have thought maybe Minnesota over Dallas.
Minnesota. We talked about that. And we even talked about LA.
Yeah.
And LA missing a few players. They beat Edmonton a year. You know, they stayed close to Edmonton a year ago and almost beat them. That one, maybe, but Colorado? Come on.
Yeah. So we all were 3 for 4 in the West. Then this is where it goes wrong to the East. All right. First of all, Sean and I had the same pick, so at least we're in it together, Sean. We picked Boston, Tampa, Islanders, and Rangers. And how did that go? We were 0 for 4. But if you turn it upside down, we were picking the losers of the series, and then we were 4 for 4.
I love that.
You have the better draft
if you turn
pick.
this upside down, you just have all of us picking the wrong teams with their logos upside down.
Yes.
Yeah, but see, Leah and Sean are now picking first in the prediction draft, though, because they got the worst record. So that is
True.
the upside.
We have the highest.
Who's winning the
we have
lottery?
the
It's a
lottery.
Well, I mean,
have-
considering our respective histories, I would say I'm almost guaranteed to win that lottery pick, considering the team that I grew up rooting for.
So Petey and Craig both got Toronto correct. Petey got Carolina, and Craig got New Jersey for them to both be 2 for 4.
Yeah, the only pick that I question is the Islanders. And I still think that they got jobbed in that one game in Carolina where the
officiating
6-0. But
yeah,
if I had it to do over again, I might take Carolina instead of the Islanders. The other two, I mean, who the hell saw Boston and Colorado going out in the first round?
Yeah.
Just, no way.
There's no shame in picking Boston.
And when you look at some of our picks, too, and in fairness to all of us, with that many Game 7s, they literally are a puck drop off the pipe going the other way. So I don't think we are alone in what we picked. And there are people that lived in Florida that clearly picked their team. And there's people in Seattle that, Seattle's going to win. I think one of the issues with this Seattle-Colorado series, if you could have looked at it in a vacuum and you could get away from all of the noise, you might have been able to see that Seattle had a better chance than most people thought because of the injuries that Colorado was facing right at that moment. I think we were all blurred by this is going to be Colorado and they're finally going to play like Colorado. And they didn't play like that for a lot this season. They were points where they were out of the playoff spot by middle of season. I think if we just could have put our logical hats on, I think we would have said Seattle will be closer. I still don't know if we'd pick them to win, but I think Seattle coming into the playoffs was a very good team.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we will try our hand here in a minute at picking the round 2. We'll see how that goes. But before we get there, the Golden Knights going forward, they have the most players on their roster with Stanley Cup final experience among the 8 remaining teams with 12. Stars are second with 10, Kraken 6, Leafs 6, Hurricanes 5, Devils 3, Oilers 3, and Panthers 3. So just consider that. Just take in all the information we're giving you and consider that when making your picks. And we also have the updated BetMGM odds for Stanley Cup winner. This is as of this morning. The Maple Leafs now have the best odds to win the Stanley Cup at plus
what could go wrong?
350.
The Maple Leafs are favored.
They're also favored to win the East plus 180. Oilers are the second to win the Cup at plus 375. Devils are the next favorite to win the East. And then you look at the West. The Oilers are the favorite to win the West, obviously. So these are the BetMGM odds in order. Wait, can you pull it up one more time? Sorry, Sean. So the order is Leafs, Oilers, Hurricanes, Stars, Devils, Golden Knights, Panthers, Kraken. That's the descending order.
So BetMGM has a Leafs Oilers Cup final.
It does.
And the Canadian drought ending at 30 years.
It does.
Wow.
And they know
American
they know a
TV
thing or two.
is thrilled for that matchup. TNT and ESPN are just chomping at the bit to get this thing.
Let me ask you about that, though. Like in Canada, yes. Would that have a big U.S. audience?
It is so.
Did we just lose you?
No, your audio is cutting out a little.
Oh, I'm sorry. Once the American television audiences lose Crosby and Pittsburgh, Boston and New York Rangers, the ratings are going to be much more difficult to attain.
Yeah.
Period.
But on the flip side, you have McDavid and Matthews going head-to-head. That's a pretty good.
Canada will be every TV set from.
I mean, it would be every TV set if it was a Florida-Vegas final in Canada. Like, that's just how Canada is.
Them parades in the streets. They might shut the country down for 10 days.
I know. They almost did on Sunday in Toronto. But anyway, if you are interested in any of those odds, you can really get some good value. So now's the time before round 2 begins. Sign up for BetMGM and use the bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, you'll get up to $100 in bonus bets on your first wager with BetMGM. Again, make sure to use that bonus code PHNX. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now it's time to listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Thank you, Shane. And Sean, do you have a pick of the week for us?
I do. I am sorry I'm going to spoil our predictions just a little bit.
That's okay.
Give me Lindy Ruff and the New Jersey Devils to win the East.
Ooh,
plus 275.
Love
spicy.
I'm back on it. I'll get more into our explanations once we go to the. Unless you want me to give it now.
No, you can get into it.
Is it the Buffalo ties?
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's more, I'll break down the exact reasons, but it's more because all the reasons why I thought they were going to lose the first series, they proved were not really a problem. And so now I like them a lot, and I like their youth, and I like Lindy. So
I love it.
We're back.
Good. Well,
and I also just kind of hate New York City. So I feel like it's an extra little dig if the Devils win.
Side note.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we're sitting in our commish studio right now, and in this office, there's a full glass window on the side here, so I can see everything going on. I've seen Saul wear a Pins and Aces hat. I've seen Totri walk in his Pins and Aces shirt. Pins and Aces is very well represented. It's really great golf apparel. It's great apparel just in general, especially here in Arizona where it's heating up. So check out Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and PHNX. We're really, really excited to partner with them, and we're even more excited about our upcoming Keeping It 100 golf tournament event. It's happening at Dobson Ranch on May 26th. free pins and aces and PHNX collaboration polos with sign up. Hello, sign me up for that. There'll be prizes, etc. If you've ever been to one of our events at Dobson, you know how much fun it is, and this is going to be a blast. So make sure you check out Pins and Aces now so you can get your gear in time for that event. I've scrolled their website. They have some amazing stuff. So check out pinsandaces.com. Use code PHNX to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. All right.
It's time.
It's time. And we'll start with the East because Sean just mentioned it. And we'll start with that series. Let's do Carolina Devils. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Petey.
I am going to go Carolina Hurricanes in this one. I don't like that they're missing their offense, but everything that Jersey did well to keep the Rangers off the board, Carolina does better. They're faster, and I tell you what, they have given up one goal against weather killing penalties in the entire series against the Islanders. They smother you in all three zones, through the neutral zone, in the D zone. They're quick on pucks, and Brent Burns is going to carry the load for this team offensively because they don't have it up front. So look for the D to give the boost to the offense. And one thing that you see on this team that you didn't see against the Rangers is their 6D in Carolina are just better. They're better defenders. You got Slavin, you got Shea. This is a better defensive core. I like Carolina in this one. I don't think the Jersey Devils' speed is going to be as apparent. If they get loose and get by the Carolina D, look out, because Jersey is good. And I believe what Sean said, but I'm taking Carolina, and I'm going to say they do it in 6.
Go ahead.
I don't know yet.
You want to hold off?
I want to go
we
last.
know who DP's
yeah, let's let
already,
Sean
so
go.
Give us your thinking.
Yeah, the Devils, for a handful of reasons. First off, one of the reasons why I thought they were going to lose to the Rangers because of the Rangers' superior goaltending and the question marks with the Devs' goaltending. Clearly was not that much of a problem, at least later in the series against the Rangers. And I would argue, I wouldn't argue objectively in Game 7, he outperformed Igor Shesterkin. So there's that. The youth, I was worried the inexperience would be a problem compared to the Rangers' experience. Again, was clearly not much of a problem. They won the series. And I am, as much as I didn't want to see Lindy Ruff succeed with another team, I do love him as a coach. And I think he gives them a little bit of an edge. So all the reasons why I thought they were going to lose in the first series, they proved were not really as big of a problem as I thought they were going to be. So I like them. I just think they got a lot of energy, and you mentioned the speed already. I just think they're fun.
All right. I'm going to piggyback right off of DP, and I'm going with the Devils as well. I'm going to stay on this train for another round. I am very concerned about, we keep hearing about how deep Carolina is. Andrei Kasha is out. Max Pacioretty is out. Andrei Svechnikov is out. And now Teuvo Teravainen has a broken hand, and he may come back in this series, but if he does, he's going to be a diminished player because a broken hand impacts what you do on the ice. I'm very concerned about that. I love Carolina. I think this is a terrific team. If this team were healthy, they are a cup contender, very much a cup contender, but I'm feeling it with Jersey right now. I feel like they're feeling it right now. I think they're hyped after beating the Rangers. This team is starting to come together. They're getting the goaltending. They're finally getting offense from somebody other than Jack Hughes. It's getting balanced. I like the Devils in this one.
All right. I've been going back and forth this entire time. My first instinct was to say Carolina, but for all the reasons Sean said, it's like we've been proven wrong by the Devils, and all the reasons you listed with it, like in the Colorado series, where if Colorado was 100% healthy, I would have picked them to completely annihilate Seattle. And for those same reasons that Carolina is really banged up, both of their goalies don't have a history of staying 100% healthy. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be wrong if I pick New Jersey because PD sometimes nails these, but I have to go with my gut. I have to take New Jersey. I'm going to ride the train with you guys.
I don't
and PD
like
can
that
laugh in our
for
faces if he's wrong.
No, I think this is a tight series.
Our odds.
It's going to be a fun series to watch, right?
Let us know in the chat what you think, by the way. Karen says, got to take Carolina for the Yotes alumni factor. That is extremely valid, Karen. And then Michael said New Jersey in 6. SC, by the way, shout out, went 7 for 8 in round 1. That's unreal. SC picked for chaos.
Good for him.
So
wow. Nice.
Good job. Charles said I had Carolina in my bracket, so I'm sticking with it. Charles, I have completely thrown out my bracket, so I'm just riding the wave. Let's go New Jersey. Why not? And I'll say 7 just because Sure. All right, let's move on to Toronto, Florida. I'll start.
Okay.
You can't see, but I'm wearing a little necklace that says Toronto. See? It says Toronto.
You're representing now.
I am going to and just to go back to our first round predictions, I said that I can't pick. It was an emotional hedge. Like, I picked Tampa because I would either be right or I'd be happy about Toronto. And that's what happened. And I couldn't bet against Tampa yet. We've seen what they've done. Whatever. That's behind us. I feel like the mental block has been lifted from the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is not me discounting Florida, because I am not looking at this series thinking this is a walk in the park for Toronto. I think Florida is riding some kind of wave. I think we saw what they did. They beat the league's best regular season team. Like, Florida could 100% win this series, but I feel like the mental block that was lifted from Toronto is going to completely free them to play loose. They're not going to, grip as tight. And even Austin Matthews said, like, this was a huge mental hurdle that was lifted for the team. Like, they admit it. How can that not distract you? So give me Toronto. I just think, for all the reasons I said. And I got to ride with my hometown.
I love the storylines in this series. Just love them. Both of these teams have been tortured. I mean, nobody talks about Florida as much. Really, nobody talks about the Florida Panthers, even in Florida. But this has been a tortured franchise as well, so it's nice to see them having playoff success. And a reminder, once again, that this is the team that won the President's Trophy last year. And they added Matthew Tkachuk, who was playing at an MVP level. Now he gets to go up against the other great American in the league in Austin Matthews. Love this matchup. The Maple Leafs controlled this series this season. They went 3-0-1 for whatever it's worth in the regular series. I like the Leafs. I like the Leafs in this series mostly because I like the versatility of their blue line. I think they are better equipped to manage what the Panthers do well. And they have options. If something isn't working, they have other options to insert into the lineup. So I am going to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs in this series to get to the conference final, and we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, I'm taking Toronto too. I think they have the ability to outscore the Florida Panthers. I don't think we're seeing the 2-1 shutouts in this series. I think you're going to see some high-scoring games. I think Tavares as a leader helps put this team over the edge because I think he's got a chip on his shoulder now. You've got guys that have been there like O'Reilly, but Mitch Marner's putting up ridiculous numbers. Austin Matthews can carry this game on his own. I know Florida has some players playing like Tkachuk. They don't have enough of them. I think Toronto's deeper up front. They'll outscore their problems in net if they need to. I think the weight's off their shoulders, and Toronto rolls this one.
Are you going to be different?
Okay. So,
ride the train.
I cannot
be different
in good conscience pick the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I knew
it. First off, I think if I know you don't, there's no reason like on paper you want to play Boston, but I think playing Boston like would have taken a lot of pressure off of Toronto. And in this situation, I feel like I know everyone's like, oh, they got past this big mental block, but like I feel like now they're playing a team that barely made the playoffs, and now everyone is focused entirely on Toronto. Whereas if they had lost to Tampa, it would have been like, okay, it's Tampa. And this series, if they had lost to Boston, it's okay, it's the greatest team of all time. Now I feel like there's just a lot of pressure on them. Toronto probably wins this series for all the reasons you mentioned. Plus, Matty Nyes, 3 points in 5 games.
Arizona legend.
3 points in 5 games, I think. But Leah was wrong about every pick in the East. I can't follow her on every pick this time. So I'm going the Florida Panthers.
I like that.
You were also wrong. So come on.
Like, I have
you picked
major
first in all of them.
questions about goaltending in this series. This could be a high scoring series. I have major questions about goaltending. But by the way, speaking of the Panthers, Darren Dreger reported that Joel Quenneville, former Panthers coach, could return to coaching soon. So that will be an interesting one to watch.
Yep. We'll keep our eye on that one.
There's openings out there. Neat.
Yep.
Roaring Fork said Toronto celebration at the end of the Tampa series is concerning. Michael said Panthers in 7. SC, I have Florida in this one. SC is on a heater, so I'm a little nervous about that.
Yeah.
And Chris said my bracket crashed shortly after takeoff. I'm gonna just watch and enjoy. Chris, I'm right there with you, but we'll still make our picks. But regardless, it's exciting. And also, Matthew Nyes, just for 1 second, on the ice for all 3 Toronto overtime winners in that series. So, he's from Arizona. You know who else is? raised in Arizona, Austin Matthews. So these two Arizona guys leading this Toronto team out of the first round finally. And I will be watching this game tonight with a Four Peaks in hand. I cannot wait. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. I'm more excited than nervous. And Four Peaks, as I said yesterday, just pairs so well with watching hockey. So make sure you check out Four Peaks wherever you buy your beer. You can check them out on Instagram as well, at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub, to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. They got Four Peaks for Teacher Appreciation Week, which starts next week. Thank a teacher and nominate them to win grants, Four Peaks swag, and a grand prize of a custom makeover of their teacher's lounge at school. So you can go to fourpeaksforteachers.org to nominate a teacher or donate. So,
I love that.
Love that.
That's
so if
fantastic.
there's any Arizona teachers in the chat, or any, be sure to check that out. It's going to be really cool.
I'm almost out of my Four Peaks from the infamous St. Patty's Day party, so I'm feeling like I should throw another party so that Max can supply me with more Four Peaks.
Listen, I'm down.
If you want to do it on a night where I can be there the whole time,
yeah, not at night.
Not show up at 11:30.
Night, no.
Wake up all my neighbors.
Oh man. Well, if you're gonna enjoy Four Peaks, you must be 21 or older to drink and enjoy responsibly. And listen, Craig, if you're gonna have another party, Craig lives in freaking New Mexico.
Okay, there it is.
But luckily there's many Circle K's along the way, so you can fill up on gas on the way to Craig's.
1/2 a mile away, by the way.
You can stop and grab yourself some snacks, and you can grab yourself some Polar Pops. And there's a great new promotion we have going on right now. You can text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy one get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. So get out your phones, do this right now. Make sure you don't miss out on this awesome offer, and you can head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. Karen said Mr. Mack is a teacher in Gilbert.
Look at that.
Well, Karen, let's nominate him.
It's a good town too, Karen.
Jeez, it's out there. Charles said I'll go with Toronto as well. So I feel like the chat's pretty 50-50 on that as well. But let's move on to the West, and we'll start with Dallas and Seattle. And I'm going to throw it to Petey because I know Petey's been doing some pre-scouting on this series. So what do you got for us?
Yeah, but here's the problem. The one thing about playoffs is all of this doesn't matter because it's all about that X factor and then emotion, right? Like you can't predict who's going to have the bigger heart. I love Seattle and what they've been able to do in this series. Love it. Dallas wins. I've liked Dallas in the Stanley Cup Finals since the beginning of the playoffs. I know Pavelski's been out, but their power play, they throw Sagan in front of the net instead of Pavelski. Sagan comes up with 4 power play goals. He's second in the league, only behind the Oilers juggernaut. So I think Dallas is deeper. I think they have more weapons. I think their goaltender is the best goaltender left, even though statistically it's Schmid. I love Ottinger. I think he is good enough to win this series and the Cup on his own. Dallas just has too many things. Seattle was able to beat a wounded Colorado team that had high top-end players. Dallas is deep. They've got 3 and 4 lines that can roll at you. They've got defense that can join like Heiskanen. Dallas is just better. So, with that, I'm taking the Dallas Stars, and I think it's over in 5.
Ooh.
Wow.
It's going to be quick.
I actually like Seattle's depth better than Dallas's. I think they have an unconventional bottom 6 that has been very effective this season, but I really like the Dallas Stars. I think this team is built for the playoffs. By the way, Joe Pavelski is going to be back, so that's a big, big addition to this lineup, and I completely agree with you on Jake Ottinger. Just a goaltender who's capable of stealing a series all by himself. Seattle was a nice story, but let's be blunt. If Colorado's healthy, we're not talking about Seattle in this round. The Dallas Stars win this series.
I'm also going to take Dallas. I think it'll be in 6. I think Seattle underrated, like you mentioned, their depth. I think we've heard from teams who've played them that they just keep coming at you. It's just Dallas, Ottinger, and also let's credit Pete DeBoer behind the bench. He's taken 3 different teams, I believe, to the conference finals. He's kind of that steady voice on the bench. Dallas has a great mixture of veteran leadership with Sagan, with Ben, with Pavelski, and new guys like Robertson, Rupe Hintz, that high skill. So I think this is actually going to be a really great series to watch. I think it'll be cool if Dallas wears those neon greens. It's the neon series, as I'm dubbing it. But I'm going to take Dallas, and that's no disrespect to Seattle. I'm not surprised if Seattle takes this to at least 6, but I'm going to stick with Dallas as well.
This is the part of the year where I remind everybody that I was born in the Dallas area, and I am a lifelong Dallas Stars fan. The Stars win this in 5. I mean, you already talked all about Ottinger and all that. And I didn't know that Pavelski's coming back, so that's another good addition. But
yeah,
I mean,
he should be ready for game 1.
I mean, it's you already mentioned it. The Kraken probably weren't going to be here if the Avs were fully healthy. I just think the Stars are a better team, and I have them in the finals as well. So
yeah, and we should mention that
Stars.
Jared McCann is out too, so he did
that's a bummer.
You're losing your leading scorer, so it doesn't stack up well for Seattle.
I'm not surprised that the Seattle fan has walked in the room. Are you walking in the room to say something? Oh, I literally thought Shane walked in. He's like a Seattle fan, so I thought he was going to walk in and get on the mic and say something. We got Michael, who said Seattle in 7. Roaring Fork said Seattle's going to need some Roman wipes to get this series to 6. Love it. SZ said, I have Dallas in this one because I thought the Avs injuries would catch up with them. Now I think it'll be because they're the better team, especially Ottinger. Charles says, I have Dallas winning it all in my bracket, so as much as it pains me to say it as a Yotes fan, go Stars. I literally thought Shane heard us all picking Dallas and stormed in here, and I thought he wanted to take the headset and prove us wrong because he has a future on the Kraken.
I was going to say he does have a future on the Kraken. Yeah.
Anywho. All right, final series. We got Edmonton, Vegas.
I'll start this one off, and I don't feel good about this one at all. I like the Oilers. I like what we're seeing from them. The best power play in freaking history. They've just been lighting it up. Vegas defends really well. Vegas is deep. Vegas has experience. Crazy as that sounds, Vegas has so much playoff experience. I don't know. I don't know what Edmonton. I'm curious to see what Edmonton does with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. If they split them up or choose the nuclear option and play them together, which they did later in that last series. You want more balance, and I think the Oilers have better depth than they've ever had in the Connor McDavid era. But Vegas still has better depth, and Vegas still defends better. I do not feel good about this pick in this series at all, but I am going to stick with the team that I have been riding with for a while, and I'm going to say Edmonton finds a way, because of the brilliance of those top 2 guys, to get past the Vegas Golden Knights into the conference final.
This one's hard. For all the reasons you said, the biggest reason it's hard is because nobody watches the damn series. I haven't seen enough of these teams to know. Did they play hockey in the West? I thought it was all in the East. So their games. Not
everyone goes to bed at 8, Petey.
That is partially true. This Edmonton team is better than they've been before. They're deeper than they've been before. They got rid of Tyson Barrie, a defensive liability on the back end. The goaltending is still the biggest issue for me on who becomes the goaltender for this team. I don't know who it is going to be. This series is going to go long. And I've got Edmonton in my bracket, but I'm going to flip it today. And I'm going with the Vegas Golden Knights.
Wow.
I'm going to take them I'm taking the Vegas Golden Knights in 7.
All right.
Wow. All right. I'm taking Edmonton in 7. And mostly for what SC said, I have Edmonton because I just like them less than Vegas. I just don't want to see Vegas succeed. I don't. And I do actually want to see Edmonton succeed. I'm beating the drum of a Oilers Leafs final, so I'm going to ride that wave now going forward. I think McDavid and Draisaitl, they're healthy this playoffs. They made it to the conference final last year. I think they're going to ride the wave. I don't think it's going to be easy. And like I said, I think it's going to go 7 games. But Edmonton is what my gut is telling me, so I'm going Edmonton.
Before we get to DP, I just want to point out, I want to put it out in the universe, especially to one particular Minnesotan. Nick Bukestad, Steve Peters just picked against you. Just letting you know, buddy.
Oh, shit.
Letting you know, buddy.
I know.
And he's going to take that personally.
Gone and quickly forgotten, Nick.
Michael Jordan fashion.
Don't tell him.
I genuinely have no idea on this series, and so as much as I want Canada to suffer, and I don't want them to see any kind of playoff success. It is crazy, by the way.
Taking
quick
back your
side
fuzzy
note,
peaches.
I love the country of Canada until we start talking about hockey, and then they might as well be the USSR. Like, I hate them with every fiber of my being. That being said,
that's great.
I cannot pick Jack Eichel to win and
That
succeed
is
in the playoffs.
valid.
I think it would be good for hockey to see Connor McDavid have a chance at a cup, even though I do not think they're going to win it. I think they'll lose to the Stars in the next round, but I do think the Oilers will win this series.
All right.
Goaltending is a concern for both
yeah.
teams here, though, right, Petey? It's not just Edmonton. I still wonder.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's been a problem from Vegas since the first game of the season.
Yeah.
And I know they've had guys that have had, good stretches and good wins, but there's no Jake Ottinger in this series on either
No,
side.
and they're
of the
sheltered. This team shelters their goaltenders well, but in the playoffs, it's harder to hide that. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We've seen Draisaitl and McDavid not get to where they wanted to be through the playoffs before.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the year. If they're going to win, this is the year. I just thought the problem they've had all along is goaltending, and I don't know if it was addressed. I think they thought it was with Jack Campbell, and it clearly hasn't been. I don't know if their goaltending is good enough to get them all the way. Maybe they get by Vegas. This series is almost too close to call.
Edmonton went 3-0 against Vegas in the regular season, for what that's worth.
Were you going to say something, Sean?
No, I was going to say that the one series that we all picked the same was that Stars-Seattle series, which means Seattle is guaranteed.
Seattle's winning.
the
Love it.
Western
Guaranteed.
Conference Final.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Seattle's
Maximum
guaranteed.
chaos.
Maximum
I'm telling
chaos.
you,
I love
again,
it.
I want a Western Conference Final of Seattle and Vegas, just to blow it all up. Blow it all up.
Imagine.
Oh God, I would.
Oh,
Canada would hate it so much. It'd be beautiful. It'd be so good.
It's funny how all year I hate on Canada, and then the playoffs come around, and I'm like a Toronto Maple Leafs fan again. All right. Charles said Golden Knights. Michael said Edmonton in 6. So we will see. The chat's been very split on these predictions. We will tweet out our predictions later, so you can retweet, reply, let us know what you think.
Can I just say something that I texted you the other night? All of you, can you imagine how much fun this playoffs would be if Tage Thompson and the Buffalo Sabres
Oh, yeah.
were here?
Oh,
So good. Imagine Tage
imagine?
upsetting the
Why we
Boston
need the
Bruins.
play-in round. Why we need the play-in round.
Can you imagine how exciting the playoffs will be one day when the Arizona Coyotes are in them? One day. One day more.
Center depth.
All
of
right.
Adam Fantilli, Logan Cooley, Barrett Hayton, and Jack McBain.
So if you want to, think
Put
about
out in
that,
the universe.
just close your eyes and think about that. Maybe take an OGs and then close your eyes
Make it easier.
and imagine the Arizona Coyotes making a deep playoff run with some superstars. I love to imagine it. I also love OGs. They have amazing flavors. They have something for everyone. They have Aquaberry Sleep Edition gummies. They have the new strawberries and cream CBD THC 1-to-1 ratio. They have microdose. Basically any need, any flavor. They're amazing. So check them out. You can find them at your local dispensary at ogsbrands.com. You got to be 21 or older to enjoy.
If you take the right OGs, you might see Adam Fantilli walking right in front of you.
Oh, this seems like you're speaking from personal experience. I don't know how
what?
to move on from that, but all right, I'm gonna try. Support Craig and his writing by becoming a diehard at gophnx.com.
That's how I do all my writing.
Yeah. Listen, fueled by OGs, Craig's articles. Weekly diehard only content as well. Diehards get 20% off on merchandise, 20% off on events. We already talked about the Keeping It 100 golf tournament. We also have Knockout Nights Cornhole tournament at BetMGM Sportsbook. That starts this Friday. It's going to be the first Friday of every month from May to August. It's free to enter. You'll get food and beverage specials, sportsbook matches, giveaways, and the PHNX crew will be going live at BetMGM all day beforehand. So if you want to come out to Glendale on Friday, we will be there all day, and then ending it with our Knockout Nights Cornhole tournament. That's this coming Friday. So become a diehard today so you can grab your 20% off on all events, including our trip to Nashville, which I forgot to mention yesterday. We're going to Nashville June 27th to the 29th for the NHL draft. Got a pontoon boat, all you can drink. Hello. We got winery stuff, events, meetups. It's going to be a blast. So grab your tickets. Again, diehards have their own link to buy tickets to get 20% off for that. So come to Nashville with us. It's going to be a blast. And if you're diehard, you get access to our Discord as well. So always a great time. I know you have one more thing you want to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but I also have one thing that came through while we were live. Boko Imama has been named the team's winner of the IOA American Specialty AHL Man of the Year Award for his outstanding contributions to the Tucson community in the 2022-2023 season. So congratulations to Boko
Seriously,
Imama.
unbelievable.
Well deserved.
It's awesome. It's great news.
Yep. Craig, I'll throw it
Well,
to you.
just we saw yesterday that the Coyotes signed, you want to say it?
Maximilian Zuba.
To an ELC. I would expect one more ELC coming from the Coyotes very soon, and then they'll get down to business with their existing free agents. So look for that coming soon. And then I'm going to be honest here. I told all of you before the show started.
Oh, God.
Gordon Lightfoot passed away. Petey, you know who this is. They have no clue who Gordon Lightfoot is. You and I could sing the songs all day. I did reach out to the company that owns the rights to Gordon Lightfoot's music to ask if we could play The Wreck of the Edmonton Fitzgerald as we faded out today. Did not hear back from them in time. So unfortunately, you will not hear Gordon Lightfoot. And it was a mixed bag of people, whether they wanted to hear me sing or not hear me sing. So I'm gonna hold off on that too, because not enough people really want to hear my voice. So just RIP Gordon Lightfoot, a great Canadian singer.
Absolutely. Canadian legend. Well, we will be back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. And guess what? Guess what time it is, everyone? It's time to start talking about the NHL draft. And we will be doing so with Corey Pronman of The Athletic tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll ask him about all the top prospects. We'll ask him about a number of guys. Don't forget, we're so hung up on the Coyotes' high pick, but they also are picking again high in the second round with Ottawa's first pick. So we got to get the lowdown on all the guys. And Corey Pronman is one of the best draft experts out there. So we're really excited to talk to him.
You know what? His new list comes
tomorrow,
which is really cool. So we'll get it all fresh takes from Corey Pronman. By the way, when you're making the thumbnail, DP, just be really careful of transposing letters in Corey Pronman's last name, because it turns into Corey Pornman really fast.
God.
And I've done that before.
Okay.
So just letting you know.
Boy.
Corey's on top of it. I say this every time we talk to these draft analysts. There are a lot of fakers out there. There are a lot of pretenders that will tell you that they're draft analysts. Corey's at the tournaments, wherever the tournaments are. If they're in Europe, they're in Canada, or they're in the U.S. He's at the tournaments. He's talking to scouts all the time. He's talking to executives all the time. He knows his stuff, and having worked with him at The Athletic for a few years, he busts his ass. He works harder than anyone I know. It's insane the hours this guy puts in. So when he brings the takes, they are well worth listening to. So really excited for that show. The other thing that's coming out tomorrow, I think the NHL awards are rolling out a one that is very significant to Coyotes fans.
We will know the Calder finalists tomorrow. So that's one of interest to Coyotes fans. So keep your eye for Matthias Machelli. So lots of stuff coming tomorrow, lots of stuff coming this week. Obviously, we're going to start talking about the draft lottery and all that. So just the season, just take your May calendar and circle the whole thing, because it matters a lot for the Coyotes. But we will be back tomorrow at 11, like we said, on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live. And while you're here, like this video. If you're listening on audio, leave us a review. It means a lot. I was reading through some of them yesterday, and I really appreciate everyone's notes on there as well. It helps us a lot. But in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at S. Peters Hockey, at Sean_DePaz. You can follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everyone. Enjoy night 1 of round 2, and we will see everybody tomorrow.